Hello folks, and welcome to an Odd Artworks, as I'm calling this channel now. More about that a bit later. I'm going to do something a little bit different today. Rather than showing a process of a painting, I'm going to do more of a draw along, chat. So if you want to draw along with me in this video, please do so. I won't speed it up too much because I want to talk about a few things, all art related and related to illustration and my practice and things like that. So if you're not drawing, grab yourself a cup of tea, sit back and enjoy the video. Okay, I have a little confession to make. I recently got a new camera and a new kind of camera arm that attaches to my desk, and in my excitement I forgot to turn it on when I started the drawing. But fortunately I wasn't that far into it, so I thought, okay, we'll just carry on. Anyway, why am I drawing this little guy today? Well, he doesn't really have a name, but he kind of represents a big turning point for me in my art life. Pretty much while I was at university, this little guy was probably when I felt like I'd nailed a visual style, and going forward into definitely the early parts of my career, this was a style I used. And this little guy was from a wordless narrative I did, and if I'm getting better at editing, I'll stick that on the screen for you now. So this guy has actually become my logo, and I still draw him from time to time, like today. So I've been drawing this guy off and on for about 15 years now, and there's something about the style I really love, and it's why I keep coming back to it, because these days I feel like I'm constantly having this battle with myself between the stylized way I've worked in for a long time and a more realism-based way I've started working in recently. And just while you're watching this, I don't really keep sketchbooks. I have nothing against them. I just find them a lot of pressure when you get so far in. You feel like you've got to make them good. So when I'm drawing, I just draw on big pieces of paper. And I often draw characters, things I'm interested in. So back to the realism versus stylized thing. I worked as an editorial illustrator and in publishing and children's publishing for a few years, and that kind of industry encourages kind of a stylized way of working, and I really enjoyed it. And as time went on, I started to work in animation and other things like that, but I've always loved fantasy and sci-fi art and surrealism, where there's a realistic aspect to work like that, and I thought that was a field I wanted to work in. And I did end up working in it for a little while. I did illustrations for games and stuff like that. But what I found was that over the last couple of years, my work has sort of gotten away from me. It doesn't feel like mine, and I'll put some examples up. I think it's very polished, and I don't dislike it, but it just doesn't feel like me. And I reached a point quite recently where I was starting to think, wow, what am I doing? This isn't me. And so that's partly why I've started this YouTube channel, in that I kind of want an excuse to sort of be me and do my thing. That's why I hadn't done any acrylic painting for a few years, so that's why the first few videos I've done have all been acrylic paint based. So when I'm looking for things to do, I tend to just doodle away on a piece of paper like this, and I don't rub out very much. I think you saw me rub one thing out there. That's probably about it. And I draw all sorts. I draw, mostly character stuff, things I love. I love drawing sort of the anonymous henchmen in armies for, fantasy and medieval things, mythology and things like that. Not so much the big heroic characters or the evil villains, just the henchmen. And I love drawing zombies. I have a big thing about zombies. I love them. I've written, I've illustrated and written a few books about zombies. And I mentioned books before with the wordless narrative. I used to make a lot of small press books, and it was actually how I used to get into galleries, and a few publishers took notice of me because of that. And I don't really do them anymore. Maybe I should. Maybe that's a little project for myself. But while I'm doing this, I'm just drawing away. I'm not really thinking too much. I'm sort of thinking about, nothing really. It's quite nice, I like to draw wizards and things like that. And I produce loads of these sheets, and I'm just moving things around so you can see what I'm doing. Sometimes there'll be an entire sheet of zombies, sometimes it'll be Vikings, sometimes it'll be, ghosts, sometimes it'll be people with mugs for heads, all sorts of stuff. I'm not too picky about this. So going back to why the YouTube channel, like I said, it's more trying to find an outlet for myself so the work feels mine. And I'm also very aware that I'm not one of these wonderful artists who just do art for the sake of art. I can't really bring myself to that. I need a reason, I need a context. I think it's the illustrator in me a little bit. So in times past I'd sort of arranged to do an exhibition somewhere which would force me to do my own artwork. But that's not really an issue given the global catastrophe that's upon us. So it's a case of, right, how do I give myself a reason to do this? So I decided to do a YouTube video, and the first thing I wanted to explore was some acrylic paintings. And I've since decided I actually want to do a lot of other stuff, so I've changed the name of the channel, you might have noticed, and I mentioned it earlier, to Odd Artworks, because I just feel it's more apt, so it doesn't tie me into just doing paintings. I could explore drawings, I could even do 3D printing at one point if the mood so takes me. So I just wanted to give myself that leeway, so that's why the name has changed. I suppose one good thing that's come out of the pandemic is it has made me take stock of what I really want to do with my work and things like that, and really analyse where I'm up to. And there's been a few factors really to make me decide, maybe I want to do my own stuff more, and definitely one of those factors was a project I did about a year ago for a good friend of mine, Chris Winterburn, called Weird Alchemy, and I illustrated that, and he was really good. He kind of gave me free rein to sort of design weird creatures and kind of do them in kind of a stylized way, and that was a real turning point for me with where I wanted to go. I suddenly felt a bit freer with my work, and I didn't feel pressured into making it super realistic. I felt like I could still work digitally, but with that style. The other big thing was over lockdown I had a bit more free time, so I returned to a project I'd sort of been noodling around with for quite a long time and wasn't really sure what to do with it. So I gave crowdfunding a try, and to my surprise it went really well. I did a map based on Manx folklore, which is where I'm from, the Isle of Man. We have our own mythology and all sorts of stuff. So I did a map about that, which was based on a much older project, but I'll probably talk about that in another video sometime. But it did really well, and I did that in a very stylized way. Again, I'd not really tried my style in a digital format before. Most of my digital work has leaned towards the realism side of things a little bit. And again, that went down very well, very popular. People liked it. I didn't get any negative feedback, which was kind of nice. So the combination of a bit of free rein on the Weird Alchemy project, and also my own sort of project doing quite well on crowdfunding, made me realize actually I'm less interested in illustrating other people's ideas and projects and things like that these days, and I kind of want to explore my own things, the stuff I want to do and say. So in terms of projects, I'm thinking of a few things, small press books, maybe some prints. We'll see how it all goes on the channel, and sort of try and tie it all together that way. So that could be good. I've got a couple of narratives in mind, sort of loosely based on folklore and mythology and things like that, but also some quite surreal stuff involving people with fishes for heads, things like that, all the weird stuff that I'm known for and I love. So that's all good. Another thing I would quite like to do is, as you can see here, I love drawing characters and creating things and telling stories, and that's really what I've realized is what I love about the kind of art that I do. So in terms of the channel, all that stuff is something I really want to include in the content. I definitely still want to keep the art tips videos because I think they're really important, and the other side of my job is I'm a lecturer at a college, so it's a nice reference for me, so I can direct my students to it. So I kind of want to keep doing them, not just for that reason, but I think they're useful. I think there's some things that people don't know, and I think they're quite useful. So definitely them. I think I'll still do process videos. I think they're quite important. And I'll do, talky videos like this where I'm just jabbering away about nonsense, really. I'd quite like to do some project-based videos, some challenges. So I'm going to have a little think about sort of projects I can do that, will help me get back into the swing of doing my own work and all the rest of it. I've just realised you can't really see the bit that I'm drawing on this character at the moment. The other thing you'll notice when I'm drawing stuff, it's not necessarily genre specific. I jump all over the place. It's just whatever I feel like drawing. I'm not precious about these pieces of paper, so it's just kind of me emptying my head, just finding a clean space to draw away. Kind of in looks like I'm kind of in a very kind of fantasy Viking-esque mood at the moment, with a few smatterings of zombies and things thrown in. So, maybe I'll think of a project or a challenge to do with that kind of thing. I'm going to leave you to watch the rest of the drawing. I'm pretty sure that's the last one I'm working on now, is that this Viking-like character here. I promise in future I'll get better with my placement of drawings and camera work. It's very much a learning curve for me, all this video stuff. But, as always, I hope you enjoy the videos. If you do, give them a like, and if you've got any questions, put them in the comments section below. And subscribe to the channel for more. At the moment I'm putting out 3 videos a week. That's probably going to change when I go back to teaching fairly soon. So that'll probably go down to 2 videos a week, but more about that in the future. Anyway, folks, like I said, if you like it, subscribe. It does me a huge favour if you to subscribe to the videos. And I will just leave you now to enjoy the rest of the video. And I'll see you next time. Take it easy, folks.